Good morning from South Carolina. This is Smish. It's May 22nd, 2020. And here is our magnificent sun and a sunspot that just isn't performing. And we're not expecting anything from it. The KP index remains low. This one on Science Alert. Astronomers have just detected a new kind of asteroid orbiting Jupiter. In essence, they're saying asteroids do not have tails, and they orbit similar to the planet they're near, while comets have tails and come in and out of the solar system. This is an asteroid with a tail. And this one I saw yesterday. It says satellites and spacecraft malfunction as Earth's magnetic field mysteriously weakens. Scientists are finding that the weakening is causing technical problems for satellites, and it seems to be growing in its effects. They're talking about the South Atlantic anomaly, which is the field has lost almost 10% of its strength over the last 2 centuries, but there's a large localized region of weakness stretching from Africa to South America. And Suspicious Observers talks about this one, and of course, a weakening of the magnetic field is a sign that the Earth is heading for pole reversal, which is the north and south magnetic poles flipping. But the flip doesn't happen immediately, obviously, but instead would occur over a course of the next couple centuries, during which there would be multiple north and south magnetic poles all around the globe. And SpaceX, of course, is making its historic launch next week, but it says it wants spectators to stay at home amid the COVID-19 pandemic. This on Live Science says Hawaii just got 2 new largest volcanoes. Turns out these 2 unassuming newbins are actually the tips of, I can't really pronounce that one, the single largest volcano on Earth, scientists have found. This is what they look like from a side view. That's all that's sticking up out of the water. It has the volume of more than twice that of Mauna Loa. And this was from 2 days ago. More than 500 earthquakes rattle western Nevada after a 6.5 hit less than a week ago. And today it is no different here. We have a big earthquake in Mexico now. A 6.1. It's relatively close to these other ones. Also, in Nevada there's a 5.3 from the last 24 hours. And Idaho is still seeing 3-pointers pretty darn frequently. We have earthquakes over in Greece still. A 5.1 is the largest. And one in the Congo, it was a 5.2. And the South Pacific here also has been seeing an uptick. On the weather map, more severe storms coming through the center of the country, making their way north of Texas here toward the Great Lakes in the northeast. They said by Memorial Day, the system causing trouble should pass off the coast. And here you go with a quick look at Australia's cloud cover. Let's look at where the severe weather is going to be in the U.S. today. And after we saw cantaloupe-sized hail in Mexico, they're talking a 4-inch diameter hail fell in Texas about 7:45 p.m. And here is Friday through Friday night. Large hail, isolated tornadoes. Dallas to Springfield, just north of Austin there. Saturday afternoon through night. And this is your wet weekend. This was from 2 days ago. At least 22 dead as Cyclone Amphan batters India and Bangladesh. A rare tornado in Indonesia kills 2. And yesterday they had one in Cuba, I believe. And heavy rain triggers floods in Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. Sputnik News has Antarctica's growing algae blooms. seen from outer space here. Caused by blooming algae, they have green snow. And we've seen the red snow too. It looks like blood, which is just another different kind of algae. A gray whale washes ashore on Bainbridge Island, which is the 6th in Washington waters this year. And this one on Forbes I didn't see before, from May 15th. Talks about big wind killing another bald eagle. It gets more federal subsidies. And we probably saw Michael Moore's documentary now on how green energy is basically a scam just for the name. Sort of how the organics industry started to turn. All the big corporations started buying organic processing facilities and making organic food. And this one I missed. It says rare May snow hits Pakistan's Ayubia for the first time in 100 years. May 19th. Let's talk about some technologies. New family of synthetic refrigerant gases poses potential dangers to human health and the environment. A study from Canada's York University has raised concerns about the damaging impacts of a new breed of gases on health and the environment. This is on Global Research. This one on The Independent. Artificial eye that sees like a human could transform robotics. A human user of the bionic eye would gain night vision capabilities. Scientists have developed an artificial eye that could provide vision for humanoid robots or even function as a bionic eye for visually impaired people in the future. On Defense One, the Pentagon's $800 million effort to embed an AI in decisions in all tiers. It says the Joint Artificial Intelligence Center, or JAIC, issued a 5-year task order awarded through GSA's Alliant 2 government-wide acquisition contract to deliver artificial intelligence-enabled products to support warfighting operations and be instrumental in embedding AI decision-making and analysis at all tiers of DoD operations. And here the DoD's top scientist shoots down airborne lasers for missile defense. Could lasers aboard aircraft like the F-35 shoot down enemy missiles as they launch? The Pentagon has batted around with the idea for decades, and they keep putting it down. Not quite sure how they would ever do that one, but we know those lasers can start fires and even shoot down aircraft or vehicles on the ground, individual people. 5G LED weapon system deployed on the streets of the UK, and this is a full video on that pictures I showed you on Rents, the inside of a 5G streetlight. So I'll put that link to the whole video below. And then I came across this on Rents. Shocker, circuit panel in brand new 5G tower is labeled COV-19. What the hell is going on? Will this frequency trigger a seeded virus in your body or cause an outbreak? I'm skeptical, but this is pretty wild if this is real. Open up the circuit board and literally it says COV-19. Your guess is as good as mine. There's a 1-minute video here at the bottom, and that's on rents.com. I'll post the links. And we're almost back to normal, because here's another mall shooting in Arizona. 3 injured, and the guy recorded it on some kind of social media that I don't use. But guns, are they going to be coming for our guns next? It sure seems like they're pushing every agenda now that they have this little opportunity. New Zealand gun crime rates soar following their gun ban. Here's the article. Suspected gunman filmed Arizona mall attack on Snapchat. This can be found on Blacklisted News. Central bank digital currencies on the way. Nearly 80% of banks are engaged in work related to national digital currencies. according to a 2020 Bank of International Settlements survey. How can you even think this wasn't planned? Maybe not the virus, but what was going to happen at the first hint of a virus that could be bad? Rand Paul says Fauci's policies emasculated the medical care system and ruined our economy. And Trump says he won't close the country if a second wave of coronavirus hits, because they realized they were duped by Fauci, Gates, and all the predictive models. I mean, exactly how would Fauci approve hydrochloroquine 15 years ago to cure coronaviruses? Nobody needed to die, this says. And then he turned around and said, oh, it's not working good enough. So a new research study out of the University of Washington, which I was told is a Gates-backed study, said the death toll could nearly quadruple by the end of the year. Trump is to lower the flags in memory of coronavirus victims. Finally, everyone gets recognition for once. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says 100% injury rate in subjects from Gates-backed COVID-19 vaccine. The UK Vax group fails. How much conspiracy in our government could there possibly be? Really? Jeffrey Epstein recruited a young sex trafficking victim on trip to Africa with Bill Clinton, court papers allege. From May 20th, Stanford researcher Dr. John Ioannidis says coronavirus might not be as deadly as the flu. It's not as deadly as the flu, says the comment here. Their argument being, while COVID-19 is a formidable threat, the fact is its infection rate, fatality rate is much lower than originally feared, is a welcome piece of evidence, he wrote. At very broad bird's eye view level, the worldwide, the IFR of COVID-19 this season may be the same ballpark as the IFR of the fluenza, and certainly not worth putting people without jobs and without food. Over 500 doctors warned Trump that nationwide shutdown may cause millions of casualties. This on National Post. We are infectious disease experts. It's time to lift the COVID-19 lockdowns. And the reason it seems like it might be worse now than the flu is because nobody has immunity to it yet. And it's going into these elder care facilities and just wiping them out sometimes. The investigation on Joe Biden and his son are starting over, they said. A Ukraine judge orders Joe Biden to be listed as alleged perpetrator of crime and prosecutors firing. And we have 6 ways the Obama administration railroaded the rule of law to destroy Michael Flynn. DOJ says Democrats paid Pennsylvania election officials to stuff the ballot box. Been charged and pleaded guilty to illegally adding votes for Democrat candidates in judicial races in 2014, 15, 16. Oh, I guess they'll do it all the time. This one from yesterday, 570 workers test positive for COVID at a Tyson plant in North Carolina. It says the facility is among 30 meat processing plants where Tyson has distributed advanced testing capabilities and enhanced care options on site to team members in partnership with Matrix Medical. This is on Amazing Polly. She does a really great job. If you're not subscribed, you might as well. African leaders stand up about the fruits testing positive, and Tanzania and Madagascar push a organic medication that they make that is helping treat the virus, and they say it works. A quick look at a map here, all the changes in COVID numbers, up, down, or indifferent. More in California defying the stay-at-home order. 1,200 California pastors are going to reopen May 31st. Mortgage delinquencies surged by 1.6 million in April. And Georgia is the guinea pig, and right now Georgia's jobs are not coming back. And this journalist says she would vote Biden even if he boiled and ate babies.